This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Indiana has had its first patient die from the coronavirus today. I'm Stephanie Wade, bringing you the latest developments from the State House.
The lack of paid sick time in Indiana is impacting workers amid this pandemic. I'm Call 6 Investigates. Kara Kenny will tell you how it's impacting one family in particular.
The mayor is taking some major steps to stop the spread of the coronavirus. We'll break them down for you coming up.
And this partnership is going above and beyond to make sure children's needs are met as their schools shut down. Inside the work to fill a deep gap amid social distancing. Indiana now has its first death caused by the coronavirus COVID-19.
The city and state leaders are taking major steps to further stop the spread. And RTV6 is working for you to keep you up to speed as we navigate this uncharted territory together.
We are your neighbors, and we only want to provide you our service of getting answers, finding solutions, and moving forward.
Well, tonight we are tracking at least 24 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Indiana. One person is now dead. Officials say that person was over the age of 65 and that they would not have died if it weren't for being infected with COVID-19. The state health department says the virus has now spread to at least 13 Indiana counties. That number is expected to climb as more tests are done across the state. Nationally, the Johns Hopkins University coronavirus tracker is showing nearly 4,200 cases of COVID-19 in the U.S. and nearly 180,000 confirmed globally. More than 7,000 people have now died from the virus, but over 78,000 have recovered.
The one message that we need to take home for all of you is this is the beginning and this is real.
And new today, all of Indiana's restaurants and bars must close. They can still provide takeout or delivery services. Indiana is also following the CDC's guidelines in limiting gatherings to 50 people. RTV6's Stephanie Wade has been covering every development for us today. She got the latest from the State House for us.
A somber governor and an emotional health commissioner delivering the news tonight that Indiana lost its first patient to the coronavirus. Community Health Network officials where the patient was being treated say the individual was in the high-risk category, over the age of 60, and had pre-existing health issues.
First of all, I want to echo Governor Holcomb and Dr. Yoletti's sadness at the loss of our first Hoosier from COVID-19.
Tonight, doctors at Community Health say the individual's significant other is also infected with the virus. They couldn't be together when the patient died. A nurse stayed in the room with them instead.
We have no treatment. We have no vaccine.
At this point, state officials say where patients are getting the virus can't be traced back to Italy or China. They expect to see more of this as the days go on, saying it's absolutely imperative Hoosiers follow the governor's guidance, pleading with people to stay home.
To those who think that we may be overreacting, I can assure you that we are not.
If you're above age 60, if you have diabetes, cancer, heart condition, lung condition, or hypertension, I urge you to self-quarantine yourself for the next several days to several weeks.
Indiana received more test kits at the end of last week and are expecting more this week, but they are only testing people who are sick enough to be admitted to the hospital with underlying health conditions. They are prioritizing high-risk individuals, people in long-term care facilities, and healthcare providers.
If someone comes in thinking they have it, why would you not test them, and is that concerning to people?
Right, it is. It creates a lot of anxiety. Even people who are well want to get tested, and I understand that, but the reality is you could have minimal symptoms today and be tested and be negative, and 2 days from now be positive for COVID-19. So that gives you a false sense of security.
This is a time of heightened anxiety and concern that it needs to be.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
So far, 273 public school districts across the state are currently closed. The Department of Education is working with the remaining 16 districts to see what their next steps should be. Communities are encouraged to work together to provide child care options for all who need assistance and meal delivery services.
The novel coronavirus is hitting some families especially hard, the thousands who do not get any paid sick days. RTV6's Kara Kenny talked with advocates who say solutions are in the works.
Approximately 1/3 of Hoosier workers do not get any paid sick time. Advocates are concerned that will become even more problematic as this pandemic continues. Desiree Adams is a married mom of 3 kids. She works at Taco Bell on Washington Street to help the family make ends meet, and she loves her job.
Making everybody's day, smiling, communicating with them, and my favorite part is working the drive-thru.
But the restaurant, like many others, closed its dining room amid coronavirus concerns. Desiree is among the 1/3 of Hoosier workers with no paid sick time.
You change, you're touching people's hands, their cards, and not knowing who out there is sick. You're still taking care of those customers, and now taking a chance of bringing that home to your young children or people in the household that may have illnesses. Like I have a failure to thrive child that has a weak immune system.
For many workers in Indiana, they do not get paid if they don't show up to work. The Indiana Institute for Working Families has been trying unsuccessfully to change that.
We have encouraged our state lawmakers to consider minimum requirements for paid sick leave, for paid family and medical leave, and so far they have not been willing to consider those proposals. Hopefully this will change that dynamic, and they will see the value of having these minimum requirements, not just for the individuals affected, but for public health and safety in general.
U.S. Congress is also working on legislation related to this issue. Governor Holcomb announced today the Department of Workforce Development has suspended rules requiring unemployment insurance claimants to physically appear at a Work One location, something Senator Karen Talion has been pushing for.
There are going to be a lot of people out of work, not because they're sick, but because of the general shutdown. And so we need to make sure that we get benefits to them also.
Desiree Edwards hopes state officials take more action to allow workers paid sick time. Until then, she will just hope she doesn't get sick and her children stay healthy too. In a recent survey, 60% of people who work in the food service industry say they've come to work sick, and advocates say those numbers don't look to improve anytime soon. Reporting in Indianapolis, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
The governor's office said this afternoon he's looking at all options to address the impact on Hoosier workers.
New local restrictions are also now in place. Mayor Hogsett, along with the Marion County Health Department, announced their plan to stop the spread of the virus today. That includes mandatory business closures and local travel restrictions. This will impact everyone living and working in Marion County. Megan Sanctorum has those details.
These restrictions will have a major impact on your day-to-day life, but they're ones the mayor says are necessary to keep the community safe. Businesses will close and streets will soon be a lot quieter as Mayor Hogsett declares a local disaster emergency. He, along with the Marion County Health Department, issued a series of guidelines for people to follow. One of them, a local travel advisory. People are urged to stay home unless they're going to the grocery store, picking up a prescription, or heading to or from work. He also ordered businesses like bars, nightclubs, movie theaters, gyms, and fitness facilities to temporarily close, starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Local business owners say this is a tough hit, but they support the decision of local leaders, some of them saying they were considering closing even before this order.
We just have to do what's best for the clients and what's best for the state and just the community as a whole. And health and wellness is obviously our first priority, being a fitness and dance studio. So we're making arrangements to move our classes online and to still support our community in that way.
These restrictions will remain in place for at least the next 7 days. At tonight's City County Council meeting, the mayor will ask City Council to extend the guidelines through April 5th. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And the mayor also announced a new online tool to connect impacted residents with resources they may need. We will have a link to that posted on our website.
Well, you may notice tonight, Amanda and I are at least 6 feet apart.
And we here at RTV6 are trying to do our part in preventing the spread of the coronavirus.
You won't see Amanda, Kevin, or I sitting together for a while here on the set. Many of our staff members, including reporters and photographers, are working remotely, not entering the station. Those who are in the newsroom are distancing ourselves from each other, and we're holding our editorial meetings via conference call instead of in person. That's just a few of the steps that we're taking to stay healthy so we can continue to work for you.
And there's a lot of information out there. We have compiled everything you need to know about COVID-19 in one spot. You can find that on the indychannel.com/coronavirus.
Now let's take you outside, get a live look at the downtown Indianapolis skyline there. And we had an overcast day, but we're expecting warmer temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is tracking other changes in the forecast.
Up and away to those temperatures. It'll start tomorrow when we at least nudge these above the 50-degree mark. 46 in Indy, 41 in Kokomo. We all share the same sky color, and that's gray. Temperature in Bloomington at 48 degrees. Let me show you a couple of showers right on the north side of Indianapolis, say Meridian Hills up to Carmel, and then Fishers, Geist, some very light sprinkles or showers, and these are fading as they slide to the east, but we'll continue to inherit some light showers through the early evening, and I think probably even past midnight. You can see a few more popping up over in Illinois. Let's talk about this big picture, because although we're dry for St. Patrick's Day, rain returns Wednesday, Thursday into portions of Friday. Maybe substantial rain as well. Wednesday morning is still dry. I'm jumping right to when the more substantial rain arrives. 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, you see that first push of widespread rain returning. We'll talk about our overall rainfall potential and what happens just as the weekend arrives. Coming up.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. Education leaders say their job is to take care of the child as a whole. So what happens when districts shut down over a virus and kids need to be fed? Coming up, how this special partnership is working through a shutdown to fill kids up with food.
College basketball sits silent, and it sidelines some local teams with high hopes. Ahead in sports, a pair of coaches talk about missing out on their tournament dreams. You're watching RTV6.
Be proud. Welcome to Delicious.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Of all the thunderstorms that we have, it's estimated that just 10% produce severe weather, being damaging wind or large hail. And of those storms that produce severe weather, only 2% produce tornadoes. The monster truck of severe weather is the supercell thunderstorm. Supercell thunderstorms are the least common, but they're the most likely to produce severe storms. They form when we get a change in wind direction from the ground level up in the atmosphere. It creates what we call a rotating storm or a mesocyclone. That gets a rotating updraft separated from the cool downdraft and puts this storm in a kind of a steady state where it can go on for hours. Whenever we identify a supercell storm, it gets our special attention.
And it is Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Indiana. RTV6's goal is to help you learn more about the hazards of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes so that you can be better prepared when they roll through. Join us every day this week for specialized content to keep your family safe.
As Indiana bars and restaurants stack chairs on tables and prepare to go carry out and delivery only, delivery services are working to help ease the burden. In response to the coronavirus and Indiana's mandated shutdown of in-person food service, companies like Grubhub are now stepping up to help. They're deferring commission fees and creating a Grubhub Community Relief Fund for drivers and restaurants affected. Uber Eats is waiving delivery fees for independent restaurants. Grubhub and Uber Eats have contact-free delivery options too. Your delivery driver can drop your order off on your stoop or next to your door to avoid contact.
An Indianapolis church is hard at work right now at Harrison Hills Elementary in Lawrence, feeding 500 families. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to explain the partnership between local schools and one Indianapolis church as they try to get through the effects of COVID-19.
While many people are indoors or practicing social distancing because of the COVID-19 pandemic, I-Town Church is hard at work.
During the next 2 weeks, we are going to be serving 10,000 children.
Since schools have closed their doors, they know that means some families could go without food without their help. The church knows this because they've partnered with local schools to help meet the urgent need.
We are fielding calls and assessing situations nearly every day. People are calling our church office. People are emailing us through the school system.
For them, it's deeper than just handing out meals. It's also about feeding the soul as the coronavirus causes people to panic everywhere.
We wanted to make sure, in the same way that the hospital takes care of the physical needs of our community, we believe it's our responsibility as the church to take care of the spiritual and emotional needs of our community as well. Our distribution centers are drive-through where families can pull up. They can receive food either put in their trunk or in their back seat. They can pull up to another station if they need some encouragement and prayer. We'll do completely drive-through prayer, drive-through pastoral care, and drive-through food.
And according to Mike Wood, the church is also making sure to look out for volunteers too.
We want to make sure that we keep our volunteers safe, our Go team members safe, the community safe, and we're working with those CDC guidelines. We're working with recommendations from state and local government, but we are going to just make it happen.
The church is giving out snack packs like this one, but also emergency boxes that are designed to last families up to at least a week.
This is our job. We as the church, we are the hope of the world. We are the ones that should respond first. When there is a great need in our community, we can't let children go hungry on our watch, and we're not going to.
Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And we've got a list of all the distribution centers and a schedule for the coming days. Those details and all our special coverage is at theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
A cloudy and relatively cool day compared to where we'll be by the time we get to Thursday. That's when temperatures will peak, whereas the west coast, west of the Rockies, will see colder than average temperatures. We will see a surge, not only in warmer air moving our way, but more moisture. That means our rain chances will go up, as well as the temperature. Temperature trend climbing through Thursday, hold steady into early Friday, and then you see what I see, pretty much a free fall into the weekend, and that transition will be marked with some showers and thunderstorms. Right now, the greater threat looks to be heavy rainfall rather than severe storms. Tomorrow, we're dry. The rain will come back, and I'll take you through that timeline here in a second for Wednesday. Still rain around, some thunderstorms on Thursday. Then on Friday, the transition begins in earnest as far as getting the colder air back into central Indiana. As you look at Wednesday morning, as I've started, we're dry. There's where we pick up the timeline with the rain entering western Indiana by 10 a.m. Overspreads all of central Indiana, 1 o'clock on Wednesday. That is the first of potentially 2 or 3 different waves of rain, and that in total will bring us well over 2 inches in some spots. Now, this just runs us into the morning hours or early afternoon on Friday. A good solid 1.5 inches, and keep in mind it takes less rainfall now to have a bigger impact on streams, rivers. Your yard is saturated, and so that's a situation. We'll keep our eye on some minor flooding that may develop or become more than that. Terre Haute to Indianapolis to Muncie and Richmond, some very light showers on that broken line there. Temperatures there from 40 in Peru to 48 in Bloomington. During the day tomorrow, or through the evening into tomorrow, clouds and a couple of light rain showers will linger. St. Patrick's Day, temperatures, they'll hit 50 in the afternoon hours with that mixture of clouds and sunshine. The clouds are more noticeable in the morning. They begin to break up as we go to the afternoon hours. Temperatures a little below average to the north, about right on for the rest of central Indiana. Wednesday temperatures come up, but the rain starts coming down. As I showed you, rain becomes likely during the day Wednesday. Some thunderstorms around too. As you look toward the end of the week, the temperature transition will be significant from the end of the work week to the beginning of the weekend. Back into the 20s Saturday morning. Saturday, the coldest day in the forecast at 38 degrees.
Kevin, thank you. Well, there aren't any games to watch, but the business of sports carries on, and that includes what could be some big spending from the Colts today. Brad Brown now with the latest.
The Colts have already made a move with this year's first draft pick. Sources say Indy trading it to the 49ers on Monday for a big defensive addition. DeForest Buckner tallied more than 120 tackles and 18 sacks over the past 2 seasons. The Colts getting him a deal worth a reported $21 million per year, which would be second highest at his position in the league. And the NFL says the draft will be held April 23rd through 25th, but the big public events planned for Las Vegas have been canceled. The league is looking at many different options to put the draft together. You can watch it next month right here on RTV6. Today should have been about the brackets. Instead, the madness of March, it's not happening. The IUPUI women's basketball team should have been hearing their name called in the field of 64 for the first time.
In the short term, this is going to be a gut-wrenching. But the long term, 15, 20 years from now, you get to look back and say, I won my last college game. I played my best in my last college game.
The Jaguars had just a single senior on this year's team, so they'll have another strong shot next season. But this team won't get the shot they earned.
As I was talking to Holly last night on the phone, it felt almost like a death, very unexpected. And, I know the kids had really been excited about that opportunity because I know they were excited about the challenge of playing, probably a Power 5 team in their arena.
The Marion women's team was a #1 seed at the NAIA National Tourney. The Knights had already won their first round game when the rest of the tourney was canceled.
Brad, it was honestly the hardest conversation I think I've ever had with a team. More so than losing your last game, to not even have a chance to lose your last game. It was rough. One of our kids said it best, it's everything for nothing.
A trio of seniors with their careers cut short, and for the rest, having to go forward with the unknown of how it all could have ended.
A lot of teams, are out here for the same goal, but, we can truly speak that we honestly felt like we had the best team in the country, and we had a chance to be playing March 17th, and we had a chance to bring that red banner home.
And it's that unknown, much like most things right now, that will be the lasting impression of this March. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
Right now on RTV6, the Central Indiana restaurant chain is converting some of its locations into temporary food markets to help feed Hoosiers in need. Ed Somm, the owner of Somm's Restaurants, says breads, ready-to-eat foods, and bulk meals will be available. They're hoping to sell items as close to cost as possible while keeping as many employees on staff as possible.
Well, this may seem like 2 weeks ago, but it was 2 days ago. That Saturday snow, it was great packing, and you can see what Donovan and Alicia did with it. They curated a little snow mountain. We had 1.2 inches officially, and that's where we stand for the winter. Guess who comes out tomorrow? The Leprechaun. 39 in the morning, afternoon temperature of 53, and we're dry.
I can't wait. I hope there's a pot of gold in there.
Sounds nice.
We're back with you tonight at 7 o'clock.
We'll see you then.